So, all right, what is your full name and where did you grow up?
Terry Patrick Laughlin,
Where did you grow up?
Anderson, Indiana.
How did you first start working for for the company?
Well, they interviewed me at my college, Tri-State University. General Motors interviewed me there, and then they sent me to several of the divisions. Allison was one of them, and I interviewed with them, and I took that interview.
Okay.
I also interviewed at 6 other places and got 6 other job offers.
Okay. And then what was your job at the company?
I started out as a design engineer, which is the mechanical design, and the aerodynamic design, the structural design, and all that. But the mechanical design guy has to put it all down and get it on paper.
Okay.
At that time, it was paper.
Okay, and then what war was happening when you were there?
Vietnam War.
What products or airplane engines did the company make for the war effort?
For the war effort, we made T-56 engines for the C-130, it's a transport airplane. For the P-3, which was a sub hunter, all around the ocean or above the ocean to get looking for subs. We had a C-2 that was the carrier based, and it would go off the carrier and get supplies, food, everything, military supplies, whatever. And the 4th airplane on the T-56 is E-2C, and it's an electronic surveillance aircraft. Had a big radar dome on top, and it was the eyes and ears of all the fleet. So it was the air traffic controller for the fleet out in the middle of the ocean.
All right. And
then there's one more. There was the TF-41 for the A-7 aircraft, and that was a fighter aircraft. And that was used by the Navy and the Air Force.
Okay. And then how did the war change the company or the work environment?
Well, it ramped up production volume. We had to make more engines, brand new engines. We had to make a lot of more additional spare parts. So our volume went way up, so we had more workers working a lot of overtime. And the engineers were working, taking care of issues that came upon us in the field. And so they were working, making new changes to the engines and so on. And I'll give you one example that was kind of unique to Vietnam. We had a very issue with the sand. Some of these aircraft flew close to the deserts and so on. And it was inhaling sand into the engine, and that did one thing, it eroded the compressor blades, so we had to come up with a new coating for the compressor blades, so they had a harder surface, so the sand wouldn't abrade them. And then also it went back into the turbines, where things were very hot and like 2,500 degrees, and that sand melted and turned into quartz, and it plugged up some of the turbine vane cooling and so on. So we had to adjust the hole size and so on so it wouldn't plug them up.
Okay. All right. And then, what was a normal work day like during that time?
Busy.
Yeah.
We worked normal shift from 7:30 to 8:15 or something like that, or 4:15.
Okay.
Yeah, but I probably worked on average 7 or 8 hours. No, not 7 or 8 hours. 10-hour days.
Okay.
And it's 6 days a week. And that was the engineering folks. The production folks were doing something very similar.
Okay. And then, did you feel like your work was important to the war effort? Why or why not?
I think it's very important because those aircraft I mentioned are very essential. The C-130 is the workhorse of aviation. It hauls everything, it does everything. It's a gunship, it has all kind of attributes. Any place there's a war, there's C-130s. The other, the Navy part of it with the E-2 and the C-2, they're always there. The A-7, the fighter aircraft, it was essential for that war because it did a lot of the low altitude things, looking for the guys in the sand pits and so on. So it flew very low and so on. All those aircraft were very essential. I think at that time, the Allison fleet of engines were using up like 90% of the fuel that was burned by all the aircraft.
Really? Okay. And then, how did the war affect your personal life or your family?
Personal life, it probably messed it up by working overtime so much. I wasn't home for the ball games and so on and so forth. So that was a shortcoming. Other than that, I don't know any emotional issues.
Okay. And then, did the people at the company strongly support the war? Yes. All of them did?
Yes, and they worked hard to get things for the military.
Okay.
Because the military needed it.
Yeah. And then, did you notice any challenges, stress, discrimination, or changes in society during that point?
Yes. Towards the end of the war, it was a long war. It lasted 19 years.
Okay.
And a lot of people, including myself to some degree, said, no, when are we going to win this war? We didn't seem that we were fighting to win. We were fighting to maintain.
Yeah.
And we had the capability to fight to win, but we didn't. And it just dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. A lot of people got killed, dragged on. And so a lot of the country started getting negative on the war. And negative on people, the presidents and the congressmen. So, and that, when the warriors came back from Vietnam, they were not welcomed as war heroes.
Right.
A lot of them were, by some people, not me, but by some people, they don't want to touch you. And so that was very disappointing to the warrior, who they didn't decide whether we're going to fight to win or not. They had to go out and fight. And they did. A lot of them lost their lives, lost their eyeballs. I worked with a guy that lost an eyeball.
Right.
And
okay.
It was a pretty tough time emotionally for the country.
Okay. And then, how did working during the war shape your views about America or patriotism?
Well, my views enhanced my views as a patriot. I do everything I can to be for the country and the warriors. I donate to the people, various societies that deal with injured warriors and so on. So I strongly believe in the patriotism of the country. It did take a hit, I think, during that time because the people were just war tired. And they're war tired now. With the current thing going on right now, even though it's only been 8 weeks, they're war tired of it. But this one, I think, different than Vietnam that lasted 19 years. This one is not going to last any more than 5 months at most. And I think that'll help the country in terms of this war. We aren't talking about this war, but
All right, and then looking back, what stands out most about that experience?
Being able to help the country and lead, supply them the parts and so on, the aircraft and so on.
And then, what do you think younger generations should understand about that time period?
Kind of like we were talking before, it kind of got depressed with an ongoing war. not fighting the wind. They wouldn't have said that at that time.
Yeah.
But they aren't. They didn't. And so the younger kids and so on got depressed with that. And I think they still are. They don't want anything to do with war. But none of us want we got a guy over there right now with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Wipe us off the face of the earth.
Gotta have it.
Somebody's got to stop that. The current president's trying to stop that. Kind of in law mode right now, which I don't like, but I think it has to happen.
Yeah.
Should happen and be done now.
Okay.
We got the equipment to go in and do it, get it done. But you got to go in and get it done.
Yeah.
And he's not used any manpower on the ground. We have lost 13 soldiers. With the aircraft. No. 2 aircraft, our aircraft hit together and collided.
Really?
And so we lost some pilots and some there, but we lost 13 soldiers. Where in Vietnam, we lost 7, 8, 9,000.
Yeah.
So, fighting the war the way it's being fought now, go into wind, he went in with all guns blasting. So nobody on the ground, they were shooting at you. They're shooting at you in the air,
Yeah.
but you've got good defenses to take care of that. So, I think the patriotism is coming back. I don't know, I'll ask you the question, is what's the patriotism of your kind?
I mean, I don't really. I feel like a bunch of our kids, like my grade and stuff, aren't really into politics that much.
That's not politics. Patriotism is not politics.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely kids that show. I think it's mostly just from what they see from their parents and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of care for the country, and like I've heard stuff about the nuclear weapon stuff, and that it needs to be stopped before it gets used. So.
Before one of those bombs can take out a whole big area.
Yeah.
And it just melts it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That's it.
So anyway, any more
All right.
questions?